Hello everyone. Today I would like to give you a lesson on the topic prism. Before starting to watch this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like it. I will be very grateful to you for that. So what do we call a prism?
I don't know.
What'd you say?
A prism is a geometric body, a polyhedron, that has two identical faces, bases, which are located in parallel planes, and the remaining faces are parallelograms, side faces. Here are these interesting prisms in front of you. So in geometry, there are different types of prisms: triangular, quadrilateral, pentagonal, hexagonal, and so on. So the base of a triangular prism is a triangle. The base of a quadrilateral prism is a quadrilateral. The base of a pentagonal prism is a pentagon. The base of a hexagonal prism is a hexagon. The bases of a prism are two equal faces of a polyhedron, which are located in parallel planes. I have highlighted the bases, you see, in different colors. I have highlighted the bases of a triangular prism in brown, the bases of a quadrilateral prism in purple, and so on. Also, please remember that when you hear in tasks, for example, a regular triangular prism, this means that its base is a regular triangle. If you hear in tasks a regular quadrilateral prism, this means that its base is a regular quadrangle, i.e. a square, and so on by analogy. Here is a straight prism, the side edges of which, that is, the heights, will be perpendicular to the base. I have highlighted them in yellow. I have also highlighted the bases of the prism in green. I have written two formulas for finding the volume of a prism and the lateral surface area of a prism. The volume of a prism is equal to the product of the area of the base and the height, and the lateral surface area of a prism is equal to the product of the perimeter of the base and the height. You would like to ask me what we call volume. Volume is the capacity of a geometric body, that is, a part of space bounded by one or more closed surfaces. Well, for example, let's take a crystal glass and pour 100 milliliters of lemonade here. This will be our volume of this glass if we fill it completely. Note that we can measure volume not only in milliliters, but also in liters, cubic meters, cubic decimeters, cubic centimeters, and so on. I can prove to you why we calculate the area of the lateral surface of a prism using this formula. Well, let's draw a quadrilateral prism, ABCD, A1, B1, C1, D1, and from this prism I will take its lateral surface. That is, I will not touch the base, but I will just take the lateral surface. And we see that the lateral surface is just a rectangle formed from four more rectangles. And we know that to find the area of a rectangle, we simply need to multiply AA by AA1. And we know that AA1 is the height. AA is the perimeter of the base. Therefore, the area of the lateral surface area of the prism will be equal to the perimeter of the base by the height. Remember it. Problem 1.1. The figure shows a regular quadrilateral prism. Determine its volume using the given data. Solution. We need to determine the volume of this regular prism. So we need to remember the formula for finding the volume of this prism. And since we have a square at the base of a regular quadrilateral prism, so we find the area of this square. This will be a squared. After all, the area of the base of the prism is 49. Next, let's determine the height from the right triangle, which I highlight in yellow. Let's remember the Pythagorean formula. Instead of A, we substitute H. Instead of B, 7. Instead of C, 25. And we get after substitution that the height of the prism is 24. So we have all the necessary data to find the volume of the prism. So we substitute 49 instead of the area of the base, instead of the height, 24. We get the answer, 1,176. Problem 1.2. The figure shows a regular triangular prism. Determine the volume of the prism using the given data. And so we are given that the perimeter of the base is 24. The height is 15. We must again recall the formula for finding the volume of a prism. So if we are given that the perimeter of the base is 24, and the base is a regular triangle, in it all sides are equal, so we can easily express one side of the base as A, and add these three sides, and thus we will find what one side of the base is equal to. Instead of the perimeter of the base, we substitute 24. We get that the side of the base of the prism is 8. Then we must find the area of this base. So let's recall the formula for finding the area of a triangle. So instead of B and C, I substitute A because the sides are the same. And instead of the angle of alpha, I will put 60 degrees. Since in an equilateral triangle, all angles will be 60 degrees. I have highlighted them in yellow. Then we must substitute these numbers instead of the sine of 60 degrees. I will substitute root 3 over 2, and we will have the answer 16 root 3. And we must multiply these given quantities, the height and the area of the base. 16 root 3 times 15 equals 240 root 3. This will be our answer. Problem 2. All edges of a regular triangular prism ABC, A1, B1, C1 are equal. Points M and K are the midpoints of edges AB and CC1, respectively. MK equals 18. Calculate the lateral surface area of prism. Solution. Let C1 equals 2A, then KC equals KC1 equals A, because point K is the midpoint of the segment CC1. Then similarly, if we are given by the condition that all edges of the prism are equal, then AC equals 2A, and point M is also the midpoint of the segment AB. Therefore, AM equals MB equals A. Then let us express the parameter A in terms of the length MC. Here, MC is highlighted in purple, and I draw the base of the prism ABC separately. Here I highlight this right triangle in yellow, AMC. Why is it right triangle? Because CM, if we are given that it is the median of the triangle ABC, then in an equilateral triangle, the median is both a bisector and an altitude. So we recall the Pythagorean theorem in order to find MC. So we substitute instead of B, MC, and instead of C, 2A. So we will have that after substitution and calculations, MC will be equal to A root 3. We continue to solve problem number 2. So I take this triangle MKC, I highlighted it in yellow, and from this triangle we need to determine KC. So I substitute these values. So after the calculations, we get that 4A squared equals 324. Now it would seem that we should recall the formula for finding the lateral surface area of a prism. This is good, but we can take a shorter and easier path, because the lateral surface area in our case is 3 times the area of the square, and also all the lateral faces are squares. So if we have one side of the square 2A, then to find the area of the square, we need to take one side of the square and square it. Therefore, the lateral surface area of a regular triangular prism will be equal to 3 times 2A squared. We get 3 times 4A squared. Instead of 4A squared, we can substitute 324, and we get that the lateral surface area of the prism is 972. This will be our answer. Problem 3. The base of the right quadrilateral prism ABCD A1, B1, C1, D1 is the parallelogram ABCD. The height BM drawn to the side AD is 9 root 2. The length of BC is 21. Triangle BMB1 is isosceles. Determine the volume of the prism. Solution. By condition, we are given that BC equals 21. So let's immediately recall the formula for finding the volume of a prism. So let's consider the base of the prism ABCD. I highlighted it in yellow. And let's recall the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram, since we have the base of the prism, a parallelogram. So the opposite side BC is AD. It will also be equal to 21. And we can now easily find the area of the base of the prism, which will be equal to 189 root 2. We are also given by condition that the triangle BMB1 is isosceles. This means that BM equals BB1 and is equal to 9 root 2. I mark the side CC1 in purple because it is parallel to the side BB1, and now we will need it to find the volume. So to find the volume of the prism, I substitute instead of the area of the base 189 root 2, instead of the height 9 root 2. And after substitution and calculations, we have that the volume is 3,402. Therefore, the answer is 3,402. So if you understood everything today, I would give you ASUS ROG G14 as a gift. If you are worried or excited because you didn't understand something, no problem. Watch this video again slowly. Never give up, and I wish you to understand it as soon as possible. Bye.